Howdy, y'all, and welcome into another edition of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jacob Milham, joined on the other side by the one and only Jeremy Greco. Jeremy, we still have our teams represented in the World Baseball Classic, but the Kansas City Royals are absolutely raking, huh? How are the vibes?
Who's your team again? I forgot.
I'm Team USA, baby.
All right, fair enough. I told my mom yesterday that I was rooting for Team Italy so I could describe to her their home run celebration, which has only gotten better since the last time we talked. And she was like, that hurts my heart that you wouldn't root for USA. So that happened.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
I'm like, it's just sports, baby.
Yeah.
And I gotta be real honest with you. I would not root for Team USA, and the reason is because they're basically the New York Yankees of the WBC. I don't want to root for the best team. That's boring.
That is true. That it absolutely is. We have a bunch to talk about, but first, a reminder to follow and subscribe the podcast wherever you're listening at. Jeremy, over the years that we've done this podcast, we've had like random countries where we perform really well. Like, remember that one time where we were like a top 10 podcast in Denmark or something like that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was really weird. Apparently right now we're a top 15 baseball podcast in the United Kingdom. So thank you to all of our United Kingdom listeners. Which
they were here for the Nate Eaton love, maybe.
Yes, probably so, honestly. But yeah, you could.
I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Trace Thompson too. I'm sad that he's not had a better major league career.
He's one of those guys. Like it seemed like he had a good floor, or at least good floor with the tools.
I mean, he's still got a glove out there. Did you see that home run robbery?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Of course, Team Great Britain also had Jazz Chisholm. When Italy played Great Britain, I think my first social media post of the day was, it's so great to see Nate Eaton doing awesome in this tournament. And on that note, boo Jazz.
Yeah, we are noted Jazz Chisholm haters on the podcast. So sorry, they're United Kingdom listeners. Just not our cup of tea, and definitely not Michael Garcia's cup of tea. We will talk a little bit about Garcia's performance in the World Baseball Classic later on in the episode. I absolutely love what is going on there. Before we talk about the quarterfinals and what Team Italy and Team USA are doing, it would be remiss if we didn't talk about Michael Wacha coming back to Kansas City Royals camp. This was it's one of those things that wasn't like communicated. There wasn't a lot of lead up to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it makes sense though, because you can only carry, you can carry as many starters as you want, but once you get out of pool play, there's only so many opportunities to start, and you probably only need 2 or 3 starters with the way the off days are set up. Well, no more than 3, because there's only 3 games. You got your quarterfinal, your semifinal, your final.
Yeah, that's it.
And they've got still Paul Skeens is scheduled to go one. I think they've probably got Nolan McLean in another.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Logan Webb.
Logan Webb. Yeah. I love Michael Wacha. He's not getting in a rotation above those 3 guys.
No. And I would absolutely make an argument that I would rather have Wacha than McLean in that spot. But
McLean did kind of implode against Team Italy.
Yeah, that he did. So, but all this boils down to the fact that Team USA wanted to have Wacha pitch out of the bullpen. Like that's what Annie Rogers reported, and I think she put it best when simply not enough innings for that. And at this time where Wacha should be stretching out to 5-6 inning performances, he needs those innings.
And they still haven't been able to even get Clayton Kershaw in a game. So
no.
You got to get Clayton in there, right, Jacob? I was really hoping he was going to get into that Italy game.
I'm kind of glad he didn't, and that's something that I want to talk about here in a little bit.
Because you're a Team USA fan.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, Wacha did good. He made his one appearance in Brazil, had nothing but glowing things to say about the team and the experience down there in the World Baseball Classic. So if you want to hear more from him, I would highly suggest you go check out that piece on MLB.com from Annie Rogers. But 5 strikeouts in 3 innings, it was good, but then he 3 earned runs.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, but apparently those first 2 innings, he was nails, and then the
Yeah,
3rd inning was where he had the trouble, which, I mean, that kinda vibes with our Michael Wacha experience, where he will just look
yeah,
like an absolute shutdown ace for 5 innings, and then the 6th, especially last year, felt like the 6th inning was just really hard for him, and if he could get through the 6th inning, the 7th inning was no trouble, but the 6th inning was just killer for him for some
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
So,
It,
I don't
it
know.
absolutely
Ho
is.
we'll see how that goes this year, but they've got a better bullpen, so they should be able to survive more 5 inning starts for Michael Wacha, especially if the rotation could be a little bit healthier or
Yes.
have, as it does, a little bit more depth.
So that's something to Walker's credit is he has been available over the past 2 seasons.
Mhm,
Since he's come to
mhm.
Kansas City, he has always been available. I think he has nearly 350 innings over
Yeah,
the past couple of seasons.
and he always gives it his all. There've been I will never blame him for the late inning disappointments, or the mid to late inning disappointments, I guess.
Yeah.
And I can't even always blame Q. The one that really stands out to me, Jacob, was 2025, or excuse me, 2024 against the Cleveland Guardians. The Royals had just tied the Guardians for the division lead, but they burned their bullpen to a crisp while they were
Yeah.
at it. And Walker went out there and he pitched 6 good innings, but they didn't have the relievers to go to another guy in the 7th. And so Walker tried to stick it out for the 7th, and it didn't quite work. And then there was a lot of second guessing, because then Lucas Erceg came in, and it's like, well, why didn't you just bring in Lucas Erceg before? Because I was really hoping to not pitch Lucas Erceg, is the answer. Yeah, so again, when you look at situations like that, that's not anyone's fault. It's just the realities of 162 games.
Yeah, precisely, precisely. But like we don't have that situation with the World Baseball Classic. We can parse down these individual games, and I think one part of the game that has been really broken down over the past few days is this interaction between teammates Randy Rosarena and Cal Raleigh.
Oh, how ridiculous is this, Jacob?
It's
On multiple levels.
I don't even know where to start with this. So folks, if you haven't watched any games, whenever Team USA is on the field, their vibe is very different from so many other teams, right?
Especially in the WBC.
Especially in the WBC. Like you said you watched a few innings of last night's Venezuela and Dominican Republic game, right? Like that was a massively different game than Italy and Mexico.
I switched the channel after the Italy game, and the first thing I saw was the sign that they have up that tells you which instruments are allowed
Yeah.
in the stadium, because everyone wants to bring instruments. Can you imagine that in an MLB ballpark?
No,
Can you
absolutely
imagine that
not.
in a Team USA matchup?
No, I still can't even.
I mean, maybe if they played Venezuela or Dominican Republic,
Yeah,
but
maybe so. They knew what they were doing by putting those teams down in Miami. All right, like that
well,
was
yeah,
that was a good choice. That was a
yeah.
great choice. So sorry,
And,
I'm
like,
I'm, I'm getting
you
ahead
could
of.
hear those instruments
Yeah,
when you were watching the game. It was
oh,
good.
yeah. It's awesome. I loved it. But sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Randy
Right, yeah.
Rosarena was what was at bat, and it was at the beginning of the game, and he extended his hand to Kyle Raleigh. There's a great photo of this, and Kyle Raleigh just kind of ignores it, doesn't really reciprocate anything at all. And Rosarena took that very, very personally after
Well,
the game.
he appears to have.
Hell,
It there
you think it's a work?
I think it might be a joke. I haven't watched the interview. I know that there is video of the interview, but I also know that people who have watched the interview told me there was a little bit of maybe a smile on Rosarena's face while he was talking about it. And also that Rosarena started the conversation by talking about how great Cal Raleigh's parents are, which doesn't feel like a thing you would say if you were really mad at a guy. Like, if you really ticked me off, Jacob, and someone was like, Jeremy, how do you feel about Jacob? I wouldn't be like, well, Jacob's got really good parents, first of all, and I love seeing them, and I just want you to know that. But also, Jacob can stick it up his butt.
I don't know if it was a work. I've watched the video. I've read
I
back
could
the
go.
quotes.
I can go either way. Honestly, I'm just saying. I remain open to the possibility, though. I will also say, as a counter argument to myself, that Cal Raleigh has made 2 different statements that everything's fine, and that doesn't sound like a guy for whom everything is fine.
No, it
And
doesn't sound like it.
Rosarena, I don't think, has made any statements since.
No, I don't believe so. According to the Seattle Times, like, other Mariners players have been asked about this, and they're avoiding it. Like
Yeah.
they don't want to answer it. They don't want to talk about it at all. So I think this is legitimate.
I don't wanna find out that Cal Raleigh's actually kind of a jerk, Jacob, because I really like rooting for him.
Yeah,
I
and
rooted for Cal Raleigh before he was good.
and it was a process for him to get this good. Let's just
Yeah,
say that.
I just remember when he first came up, he just had that unbelievable power as a switch
He did.
hitting catcher,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This I want this guy to be good." And he beat the Royals with a home run at one point, and my headline was about Cal Raleigh's rally. It
Yeah.
was because I wanted to talk about Cal Raleigh. So I don't want to find out that he's a jerk. This is one of those times when I'm like, please don't tell me any more about the baseball players. I just want to believe he's a decent guy so I can continue cheering for him.
Yeah, I understand. And I think that there's certainly going to be a good group of people who view this situation as like, hey, this is all business. You're not my teammate. I don't have to. We're competitors right now, but in the polarization of that, you have the Dominicans and the Venezuelans having great sportsmanship, laughing, joking around with each other on the field, and still having a competitive ball game.
I will never understand this idea that when you get between the lines, you have to they're your enemy. They can't be your friends until you're back off the field. Like what are we talking? I mean, there's compartmentalization and then there's whatever that is. You all are out here playing a game. You're not fighting a war. Okay? You are playing a game. You can be serious about the game and also still love your opponent. And you know what? You don't have to love a guy to shake his hand.
That's true.
I shake hands of people I don't even like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's being civil. Like that's how I classify that.
It used to be that's good sportsmanship. When I played sports when I was a kid, let me step on my old man soapbox here for a second. When I was a kid, we had to shake hands with the opposing team before or after the game as a show of sportsmanship. So what the heck is this?
I mean, we are in a very different sports world now. Like you can look at high school sports, you can look at college sports, and obviously professional sports too. It's very different nowadays. I don't think this would be that big of a deal, even if it wasn't just Team USA, where it feels like they're the ones doing this. You know what I mean?
The vibes around Team USA are whatever the opposite of immaculate is.
They're like, it feels like
other than Bobby Witt
fake.
Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. is getting all the love,
yeah,
and everyone else is around here going. And Paul, I'll give Paul Skeens his glance back to Bobby Witt Jr. that Olivia Dunn posted about. That was good times. If y'all didn't see it, it's that meme where the guy's with one girl and he looks back at another girl, and then Olivia Dunn has photoshopped Paul Skeens' face onto the guy, and Bobby Witt's face onto the other girl, and then her face on the girl that he's with. Just
it's so I love it. I loved that, and I loved that she posted it. Like it's a good sense of humor thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving on.
I've also heard like to speak to the vibes around the Team USA team. I haven't seen this, but I've heard that like they're kind of pretending like they're in the military or going to war. That's why I use that thing where they're like saluting each other in the outfield. And there's also, of course, the vibe of Mark DeRosa not knowing that his team had not clinched a quarterfinal spot without beating Italy. And then they had after losing to Italy, they had to cheer for Italy.
Yep, exactly.
And and it worked out. As Vinnie said in the post-game interview, you're welcome. I feel that's how I should have started the podcast. You're like, both of our teams. If I'd remembered you were Team USA, I would have been like, you're welcome.
That would have been perfect. And yeah, if y'all missed that Italy-Mexico game, you missed a historic one. Vinnie Pasquantino having the first 3 home run game in World Baseball Classic history. Absolutely monster stuff from him.
I am so annoyed at the announcers or the broadcast team because the initial graphic before Vinny hit the 3rd home run was that no one from Team Italy had ever hit 3 home runs in the World Baseball Classic. So when he did it, I posted on social media as the Royals Review account that it was the first Italian WBC three-run homer game, three homer game. And then everyone's like, it's first in the WBC for any team. And I'm like, okay, well now they say that.
Of course I do. Making you look dumb, Jeremy. I'm sorry to hear that. So I don't know how I feel about Team USA. I'm definitely still rooting for them. Of course, it does feel like this. I don't think they're cracking under the pressure, but they're under a
No.
lot of pressure right now, and a lot of things feel forced. A lot of things feel unnatural, I guess. Like it flies in the face of like what Italy and the Dominican Republic are doing, you know?
Watching the media coverage of Team USA does feel to me like this is what I've always heard the media coverage of the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets described as being like,
Yeah.
of like super immediately critical. I'm used to Royals coverage where sometimes I think the argument could be made that the media could be a little bit more critical of the team, but most of the time it's fine. Whereas the whole DeRosa not knowing that his team had not yet clinched in a pre-game interview, and there's plenty of opportunity for him to have realized that before the game was played, and I suspect
Yeah.
someone did pull him aside and tell him before the game was played to make sure, like, that you're going to start Paul Goldschmidt and instead of Bryce Harper,
Mhm.
that like we need to win this game to fully clinch, right? I'm sure someone told him that.
I'm sure.
But the media has just gone berserk with hatred for DeRosa.
They
And
have.
I mean, to a degree, I think I understand that better now than I did in the immediate happening because I had not realized how much of a yes man he is to Rob Manfred and how much of the baseball there's so much of the baseball media I follow are not Rob Manfred fans. So that probably played a part in it, but it was there's just a lot of also like as soon as Team Italy won, all the articles I was getting from the Athletic were Team USA has gotten a reprieve. Now they have to take advantage of it. I'm like, it's just a baseball tournament, you guys. It's not the end of the world if they lose. They've lost all of them but one.
Yep,
Every
that
one
they
of these
have.
20 teams will lose except for one.
Believe it or not, that will happen.
If Team Italy doesn't win, are they all going to go home and be like, we have debased our forebearers? Will they never drink another espresso?
They'll have to bow down in shame. So hey, some folks though who normally wear Royals uniforms should not be shameful of
No.
their WBC performance. I will say that. Vinnie Pasquantino and Jac Caglianone both have had very, very good runs on Team Italy. And I know that, Bobby Witt Jr., he has not been like he hasn't had that home run or like that defining moment at the plate. He's had him in the field, certainly. Holy
He's hit a
smokes.
bunch of doubles and had a few stolen bases, though.
He
It's not like
has.
he's been silent.
Right. And like what I was getting to is I think this has been a very good coming out party for him as one of the game's true five tool players. Like,
And I think the vibes around Team USA being so weird are also helpful for that because it's like, I don't know if I want to look at those guys, but this Bobby Witt Jr. kid, he's just having a lot of fun and being normal over here.
let's watch him. Here, I'm trying to double check on something because okay, so Michael Garcia and Bobby Wood Jr. both have 3 stolen bases in the World Baseball Classic, which so that's good. That's good. I'll
The
absolutely
base
take that.
running is back as soon as they leave Kansas City. What the heck?
Yeah, that's seems to be the case, but that's fine. That's fine. I'll absolutely take it. And we talked about Nate Eaton last go around. Abraham Toro has also been doing really good things with Team Canada there, and that is who the United States kick things off against on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Kaufman Standard Time. Everything is coming to the States, right? We're not, we don't have to worry about the time conversion with Japan or anything anymore, which I will miss the Tokyo Dome. That is a great environment.
Good news. It's in MLB The Show this year.
I know.
And the first event of the year is set in the Tokyo Dome. So you can see all the Tokyo Dome you want.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
They also added, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the stadium from Puerto Rico is
I
also
don't know how to say that one.
being added to MLB The Show. So they're full in on the WBC this year, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. This is, I think that as exciting as the 2023 WBC was, I think that MLB and the third-party media around it have done a really good job on capitalizing on the momentum. I think they've done a very good job.
The only complaint I have beyond the commercials that I think I talked about last time, is like last night's games were swapped. It was originally Italy was at 8, Dominican Republic, Venezuela was at 7. So I went to turn on game Italy at 8, and oops, it's already been going for an hour.
Yeah.
and
That's
I
fair.
hadn't caught that memo, so I hate like, just and I know they did it because it had implications for Team USA, and so they figured it was the more people would wanna watch it, but come on. It's just an hour, and you've screwed up my understanding of which game to watch when.
That's true. That's true. It's
Of course.
tough when these are, like, day of changes.
Yeah, and if I had been a better fan of baseball, I would have tried to tune in to the Dominican Republic Venezuela game at 7 o'clock and realized, oh wait, that's not on. It must be they swapped it.
Ah, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see who is kicking things off
I
overall.
did
So Korea
while we're
versus the
talking about guys
Dominican.
doing well, I really want to just highlight Jac Caglianone for a second.
Yeah.
He has taken a bunch of walks. He has tattooed the ball. He has made two really good, smart plays in the outfield. These are not plays dominated by his athleticism, which he
Mhm.
has plenty of. I don't care how big he is. He's plenty athletic, but he's made smart defensive plays where he didn't over pursue, but he got to a ball quick and threw it back to the infield fast and prevented base runners from taking extra bases based on his play out there. That's some high quality stuff that's going to be important. And he's laid off tough pitches. The home run he hit was against a lefty, Ryan Yarborough, who had his breaking stuff working, sweeping from one side of the plate to the other, and Jack spit on some breakers just outside the zone and then tattooed the one that was in it.
Yeah.
So he is having a terrific World Baseball Classic. He looks every bit a seasoned major league player now. And I think it was David Lesky wrote in his mailbag today that the thing that he's still worried about with Jack, and this is where I'm at too now, is not does Jack have talent? Can Jack succeed? It's what does Jack do the next time he struggles? Because I think I've said this before. That's what I think happened last year was Jack struggled for the first time ever as a baseball player and didn't know how to get out of the slump, couldn't get out of the slump, got frustrated and it got and he got bad once he got frustrated. He was doing well, but he was not succeeding, and then he started playing poorly. So he will have a slump at some point this year. So the important thing will be when he gets to that slump, does he get frustrated and slip into bad habits, or
Yeah.
does he fight his way out of it?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and unfortunately, we just won't know. That's that human element we can't quantify,
Mhm.
right? We won't know until we see it in the season. So
I I have to believe that with guys like Vinny and Salvi and Bobby around him and the coaching staff, I think is I really like the coaching staff that the Royals have. Even the hitting coaches, I like. Have to believe that they're gonna help him this year when he gets into the slump to fight through it.
yeah,
I
I agree.
no criticism against the hitting coaches they had last year, but that was my thing was I felt like guys got into slumps and nobody could get out of their slumps. And so I feel confident for now. Maybe I've got my Royals blue spring training glasses on that they'll be able to figure this out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't call that optimism. I would call that giving them the benefit of the doubt
Yeah,
right now.
sure.
All right. So let's look at there are 7 games left in total in the World Baseball Classic.
There are.
This is going to wrap up in a hurry. First game is on Friday, and then what you go Sunday, Monday, or sorry, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are the semifinals, and then the final is on Tuesday. So, looking at this field, Jeremy, how are we feeling?
Well, let's see. USA's playing Canada. Canada kind of surprised a lot of people, but I think USA, whatever their vibes are, probably takes that game. Japan is playing Venezuela. As much as I want to support Venezuela with Michael and Salvi, I think they'll give them a fight, but I think Japan's probably going to win that one. Italy versus Puerto Rico is going to be interesting, but I give the edge to Italy there.
Yeah, I would
And
too.
then that leaves South Korea and the Dominican Republic, and I think that's gonna be the closest game
Really?
out of the bunch, and I think Dominican Republic probably wins it just because I think they've got more power and they've got more fire in the bullpen, but, that's how I think the quarterfinals are gonna go, and to know the semifinals, I'd have to know the matchups. It's probably still USA or Japan in the final. Might be those 2 playing each other in the final, and it's hard to say USA is gonna lose with the talent that they've got.
Really? Okay. All right.
I
Um,
want I want Team Italy to win, but the watching the games, one of the things that done for my perspective of Italy is understanding that winning isn't their ultimate goal. Their ultimate goal for everyone on that team, for Francisco Cervelli managing that team, for Vinnie Pasquantino captaining that team, for everyone on that team, is to just raise up baseball in Italy. So Vinnie Pasquantino talked about, or at least they said that they had interviewed Vinnie Pasquantino, and he talked about how the ultimate goal was for him to not be able to be on Team Italy because they had natural born Italians at every position.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And they're accomplishing that goal by going 4-0 through pool play. If they win a quarterfinal game, that gets them that much closer. They don't have to win the whole thing to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Would it be cool? Would it be helpful? Yes, but it's not required.
Yeah, I agree
So
with that.
that they've accomplished their goal is sufficient for me.
Okay. So here's the thing. First off, I think the Dominicans are going to run away with it from Korea.
Okay.
I think that is going to be a very decisive win from them.
I believe in Korea, baby. Just
It's
get the demon hunters out there. They'll be fine. Get the ape from the I don't remember the name of the movie now. There's a Korean baseball movie with an ape who plays for
really
one of the teams. Yeah.
okay.
Big Joe or something like. I'll look it up while you're talking.
Okay, sounds good. I do think that United States is going to win their matchup against Canada. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of there's going to be it's going to be skewed in some way before the actual game, kicks off. Italy over Puerto Rico, Japan over Venezuela, then Japan over Italy, and genuinely, if something doesn't change for Team USA, I think the Dominican Republic would beat Team USA.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
rooting for Team
then
USA.
Japan, Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
Who wins that one?
Japan.
All right. I
Japan.
the Italy-Japan game would be a lot of
Oh,
fun for me as someone who
yeah.
watched Italy already beat USA.
Mhm.
I would enjoy that a lot to see them take on both the baseball superpowers.
Well, yeah. That would make for a very entertaining matchup. If you guys listening out there disagree with us, or if you think another team is gonna shock the world and make it to those semifinals or the finals, go ahead and drop a comment or let us know on social media. Would love to hear from y'all on that.
The
We
name of that movie, by the way, is Mr. Go.
Mr. Go. Okay, I've never heard of that. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it's a Korean movie. So,
Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
it's literally made in Korea by Koreans. This is not gonna be super popular here. I watched it a few off seasons ago when I was doing that Does It Hold Up series, where I
Oh
was
yeah.
watching basically every baseball movie I could think of. Max Reaper recommended it to me.
Oh yeah. And then didn't they
I
say you can't
enjoyed
do
it.
that
It does
anymore?
not get good reviews.
Okay.
And I don't remember what my review was, but I remember I enjoyed it enough that I didn't hate that I'd spent the time on it in the same way that I felt about The Natural.
That's a rough one. Not gonna lie. All right, folks, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back here in one moment. Stay tuned. Back. All right, folks. So if you haven't heard, we talked a little bit about it on the last episode, but we got a good hard look at it with Team Italy's game against Mexico. Have you ever been beamed up because Vinny Pasquantino was absolutely buzzing from all those espresso shots?
Gosh.
It was like I could tell the
Oh, yeah.
vibes are good. You're caffeinated. You're winning by a lot. Like that has to be a good feeling on top of the world. Huh?
That was one of the most fun player interviews I think I've ever gotten to see. Vinny always gives great interviews, but you could tell that his mental state was altered by the amount of caffeine he had consumed. The whole "you're welcome" thing, I don't think he normally delivers that. I think that was the beans talking. And I loved it. I loved all of it. I've never been that beamed up, but by golly, I almost want to be now because he was having a good time. Did you also see? I guess there was a clip after one of the games, not last night's game, but a different game, where he was in the tunnel and he was looking for the wine
Yes, you
at
saw that
the
he asks the question in such a primal manner. Like it
yeah
shocked me that he was asking for wine. Like
yeah.
that's where
Well,
because yeah,
and
he
then
said,
there's
"Where's the bleeping wine?"
yeah, and then there's the interview he gave where he wanted to make sure that he qualified for Team Italy, so he's doing a bunch of research and he went to Italy and he said he did what Italians do and he drank a lot of wine.
So that is, if we could talk about Bobby Wood Jr.'s coming out party, I think like holy smokes, Vinny's coming out party has been as much off the field as it has been on the field. He has been
He
such a visual and vocal leader for Team Italy and just the game overall.
Who was it? Do you remember who was it that said that Vinny was the MVP of Team Italy even after game 3 without getting hit, just for all of the hard work he had done to like, he's the reason the espresso machine is there. And of course, he's the one brewing them. He's the one handing them out. He's the one doing the kissing on the cheeks. Like, he did so much vibes for that team that someone was crediting him with being the team MVP. And
it was another player.
Yeah, and he's got the scoops over there at first base, and he was doing the splits. So he was defensively, he was showing up. But and then the bat obviously showed up in a big way last night as well. I've got it here somewhere. You talk and I'll find it.
Well, so it
was Sam Antonacci.
Thank you. He's their shortstop, if I recall correctly, right?
Well, he's one of their infielders.
Gotcha. I'm curious about your thoughts on this because MLB.com tried to give Vinny another nickname, which we know he is the man of many nicknames. Do y'all remember the Italian breakfast saga? Yeah, that was
the Italian
that was
nightmare that George Brett tried to give him.
That's just Pasquantino.
He's also been called the Italian Stallion, I'm pretty sure, even though that's Rocky's nickname.
MLB.com tried to give him the moniker Mr. March after his game over Mexico.
No.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Incorrect.
Wrong answer. Especially
Pasquatch. He is the Pasquatch. One of my favorite things was the first Team Italy game. One of the announcers, I don't even know who was calling the Team Italy games. I should probably look that up at some point. But one of the announcers was like, I want to see Vinny get a hit here so that I can see that Sasquatch maybe up on that train tracks.
Ken asked the same question about like what if they brought the Pasquatch down with them?
I'm just saying,
they're playing in Houston.
Him out.
Yeah, I would too. That'd be really fun, I think. So let's see here. I'm curious about. So I absolutely missed that the Team USA made some roster moves with Skubal, Waka, and Yarborough going off the roster. I was curious about who they were adding, but it's like I don't think it's anyone who's going to change much for that team. Like Tigers will
be adding Matt Strom for this part of it, but
I thought they were too.
They did.
No,
so I'm not sure what happened there.
They added Will Vest, Tyler Rogers, and Tim Hill, all two righties and a lefty reliever.
Those are quality relievers. Will Vest was a closer for the Tigers most of last year. Rogers and Hill are both sidearmers from one. Rogers from one side and Hill from the other. Hill was the only guy to inherit more runners than Schreiber last year.
Really? Wow.
And he was pitching in New York. I know this because I was like, why does Tim Hill have so many inherited runners? And it's been talked about multiple times. And I'm just like, does anyone ask why? You tell me that it happened. Why? Tim Hill is not the fireman guy. He's a former Royal.
No, that is not who I'm thinking of when I think of the fireman role.
But he was the Yankees fireman. They kept bringing him in with runners on, and he kept getting the job done.
So that's all that matters sometimes.
So those guys all make a lot of sense. They're not my first choices, but a lot of the first choices, Andres Munoz is on Mexico. A lot of those fireballing relievers are playing for other countries.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And they've still got Mason Miller, so I don't feel too bad for them.
Oh, that was so.
Clayton Kershaw. They've got Clayton Kershaw in the bullpen.
Jeremy, stop that, Jeremy.
They gotta stop teasing me by having Clayton Kershaw warm up in games that matter to me, and then not have him come in
because you get excited. You get really.
I'm like, yes, that's the pitcher I want my team to face.
Right. Let's see. Do you remember when they made like Miguel Cabrera an honorary All-Star in his retirement season?
Sounds vaguely familiar, yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember them doing it I think they did it with Kobe Bryant in his retirement season as well. Like they weren't having basketball. Yeah, they weren't having all-star quality seasons, but like it's like, hey, you're here and we want you to be a part of the festivities. Sure. That's why I feel like Clayton Kershaw should be. And Clayton Kershaw should not be picking up the baseball right now to pitch meaningful innings.
And I'm sorry, I know I'm the king of the don't talk about people's bodies, baseball players' bodies, but Clayton Kershaw in the WBC does not look like the Clayton Kershaw who last pitched in the big leagues. It looks like he has been enjoying his retirement and
absolutely.
by all means, enjoy your retirement, buddy, but I'm not sure why you're here.
When they talk about guys adding 10 or 20 pounds of muscle heading into spring training, that has not been the case for Clayton Kershaw. I think that
No.
is easy to say.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, you can add on pounds that aren't muscle really easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you've got a certain body type, and for all I know, he's got that body type, and it's been amazing that he hasn't put on those pounds for his entire MLB career until now. But I don't understand why he's on Team USA. There's just literally no reason to have him pitch.
I heard someone
so many talented players. Basically, every MLB player is eligible for the World Baseball Classic. We just talked about Matt Strahm. Matt Strahm would be much more valuable to the Team USA than Clayton Kershaw, but Clayton Kershaw's got a roster spot.
Yeah. I heard someone's theory. You had Clayton Kershaw warming up in the 8th, I think it was, against Italy. And I heard someone's theory that it was at that point DeRosa was told or realized that this was like they hadn't clinched that spot yet because Mason Miller came in instead of Kershaw. And that's a very drastic difference.
The way I remember it was that USA was down big in the 8th inning, and I think he was just going to send Kershaw out there because we're already down big. What does it matter? I'll let Kershaw get an inning in now because this doesn't matter anymore. At the time, I didn't know DeRosa had ever been confused about the clinching stuff. And to be entirely 100% honest, I thought USA had clinched after they beat Mexico. So I can't get on him too much for that. I'm also not the manager of the team. So maybe he should know more than me. But yeah, I think, and then USA scored a bunch of runs in the bottom of the 8th and made it close. And I think that's when Mason Miller got up in the bullpen, and it was kind of like, if we're going to be close, then it's going to be Mason Miller. If we're not going to be close, then it's going to be Clayton Kershaw.
Well, and
that's how I interpreted it, but I'm not DeRosa. I can't be sure.
Yeah, I got you. And it was close enough. Right. It was going to be closer than anticipated. They had 3 runs in the 7th, and then they added one more in the bottom of the 8th.
Maybe it was the 7th inning he was warming up in then.
Maybe so. Also, a ton of, in that game, ton of former Royals pitching for Team USA in that one. Ryan Yarbrough, Brad Keller, Gabe Spire. That was...
I think Dan Altavia pitched for Team Italy in that game.
Yep.
He was with the Royals for a minute last year.
Yeah. And the pitching MVP of that game was a former Royal, Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
2 hits across 4 2/3 innings. He was pitching to contact, but didn't allow a run.
He was one of the things that I didn't know about the WBC before last night, 2 nights ago, is that there's a pitch limit. It's not a pitch limit enforced by the teams. It's a pitch limit enforced by the tournament. In the first round of the tournament, a pitcher may not throw more than 65 pitches. If they've thrown less than 65, they can finish the next batter. So Michael Lorenzen's last batter, I think it was him or Nola, I think. He had 64 pitches, so he got to pitch to one more batter. It was Nola because Nola pitched 5 innings, and they're like, can he get to 5 innings? And then he walked the guy, and they're like, well, there goes that. And he'd walked him on pitch 64. And then the next guy came up, and they're like, well, we're going to let him keep going. And the guy got caught stealing, and so he did get to finish the inning.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lorenzen was sitting at 67.
He had just gone over after 4 2/3, so they were required by the rules of the tournament to pull him. I think in the quarterfinals, you can go up to 80 quarters. I think that's quarters and semis. And then in the final, you can go up to 90.
Okay. That makes sense, especially when a lot more is on the line.
Because they kept talking about this 65 pitch limit. And I thought it was the team says he can only go 65, but he can go beyond that, to finish a batter. And then I'm like, that's a weird way of saying that, but okay. And then I finally realized I think it was against USA when Lorenzen was on the mound. Oh no, this is a tournament rule.
I think that's a good rule, especially
for when they're playing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially if teams are going to, how it's scheduled, you don't have normal rest for so many of these guys and they're still ramping up. This is the prime time for injuries for these pitchers because they're still getting stretched out and things like that. So you don't want to compromise that. And that's I bet you that teams feel a little bit comfortable knowing that guardrail is in place, letting their guys go play.
The whole tournament is administered by MLB, so I'm sure that was part of how they set it up, was an acknowledgement of that. I did you see the proposal? I don't remember who wrote it. Somebody talked to Tarek Skubal, and they proposed a future WBC where you do the pool play in March, like they're doing it now, but you
Yeah,
don't play the quarter, semis, and final until All-Star break.
don't like that.
You don't like that? All right.
Don't like that because just think about it. Let's say we hit pause on it right now and we go play half of the MLB season.
Mhm.
What those teams could look so different when it comes to
Oh,
injuries, when it
yeah.
comes to workloads, and especially right like that's prime trade candidate season.
Oh, yeah.
If a guy is looking to get traded, is he going to go play for that team that he was
I
playing
y
for before?
I had not considered the trading aspect of it. That's gonna destroy any opportunity of a World Baseball Classic, anything in July, though the Olympics are gonna be really
Yeah,
interesting here in a few
they
years when
yeah.
MLB players wanna play on an Olympic team.
Yeah, I think that's the right word for it, interesting, because they're gonna have to that's dead in the middle of the MLB season. They're gonna have to figure out something to
They'll
let these
they'll
guys go
figure that
play.
out probably, I guess, during the negotiations for the
Yeah,
next CBA.
yeah, because this I don't know what the rules are for, okay, we're gonna make this a permanent fixture of the Olympics, but I imagine that we're gonna see baseball again in 2032.
Mhm.
And they're gonna have to figure out something for how, hey, this is who can play, this is who can't play, this is how they can play, when they can play, yada yada yada. But a lot to stew on, and frankly we don't have a lot of time anymore to stew on off season stuff,
You've
Jeremy.
got what is it? 2 weeks to opening
Yeah,
day, I guess.
yeah, it's really nice. What by the time folks are listening to this, is going to be Friday the 13th, but that is just 14 days away from opening day down in Atlanta, which I'm still a little peeved that I haven't seen a solid reason for why they moved that game from Thursday to Friday. Still
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
it. Yeah. I'm sure it's got something to do with bless you. I'm sure it's got something to do with like weather and I don't know. There's got to be something there. Hey, you're muted, Jeremy. I can't hear you.
Somebody's gotta play on Friday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
'Cause
But
you if you schedule all the openers what they do is they schedule all the openers on Thursday or most of the openers on Thursday, and then you have Friday for, "Oh, it got rained out," you can still have your opening day without having to play a doubleheader. And I think that they decided Atlanta was one of the places that was least likely to have weather. I don't know why
okay.
you wouldn't just pick domes
Yeah, that's
to
true.
do the Friday game, but if it does get rained out on Friday, it's gonna be a mess.
Yeah. Well, I just know that you cannot count on anything when it comes to the weather. Like I'm here in coastal Virginia. It was 81 yesterday, sunny. It was awesome. We were thinking about turning on the AC, and I kid you not, it was snowing today. It
Yeah.
was snowing and sleeting.
I I walked out of my apartment this morning without considering the weather at all because it had been 84 yesterday, and I was wearing my shorts, and a t-shirt, and I walked outside, and it was below freezing, and we had
Yeah,
a snowy a winter weather mix coming down of
it's
rain
so
and
weird.
snow, and I was like, "I was not prepared for any of this, I'm so cold."
Yeah, I it was from so right now from the ship we have to walk in the civilian clothes. We can't like walk off the ship in our uniforms. And I wore shorts going into work today and walked off in shorts, and it was sleeting at that point. Thankfully I had a windbreaker at least to cover up a little bit. Hey, anything on the Royals front, Jeremy?
Starling Marte finally got into a game yesterday.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Didn't do anything amazing. He did take a walk, but the pitches weren't particularly close to the strike zone, and he swung at one of them. He got 5 pitches. None of them were near the strike zone, and he swung at one of them. He also had a couple outs, no impressive exit velocities. I don't know what's going on with left field, Jacob. I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that the 2 highest strikeout rates on the team so far this spring are Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins, and those are guys that the Royals brought in because they don't chase and they don't swing and miss, and
Mm,
they're doing both and more swinging and missing than chasing. But
right.
I'm a little concerned about the left field
Yeah.
situation. I know that it's spring training and it shouldn't matter, Jacob, but I'm a little concerned.
I'm a little concerned too. Hey, what one other WBC thing? Sorry, I have to bring this up.
Yeah.
For all of you card hunters out there, Jac Caglianone has a very special WBC card coming out. So I don't really agree with how Topps is doing this, but basically they're selling the base card for Caglianone for the WBC at $11.99.
Okay.
But you get this chance of getting this. I'll send you a picture of it. It's like the golden one with, signed by Jack, and it's got an inscription that says "Forget about it."
This
All
is
one word.
this is not the first. Baseball cards are the original loot boxes, and that's what this is. Is you spend your money for you're guaranteed something, so it's not legally gambling, but you're hoping for something else that you have small odds of getting. Like I said, the original loot boxes are collectible cards,
Oh
and
man,
that's one of the reasons I'm glad I never got into card collecting outside of MLB The Show.
I could agree with that. I had my time, not anymore. I had the Royals social media team put out we were talking about getting beamed up. Well, they put out a social media graphic that's beamed up with Vinny's and Jack's numbers on the side there of the espresso machine in the dugout. Gotta love it.
That is not the espresso machine from the Italy
No,
dugout.
no, it is not. It is just a
Are they
espresso machine.
are they trying to tell me that they're gonna put an espresso machine in the Royals dugout? Because I am here for it. I'm here for it, Jacob.
That'd be pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie, but I don't know. You gotta who had the article on RoyalsReview.com about like getting a Kansas City
I think that
home
was
run celebration? I think it was too, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Hey, while
he
Jeremy
also knew the name for that kissing maneuver. Let me see if I can find it real
while
quick.
while Jeremy's looking that up, there is one other transaction thing that shouldn't surprise anyone, but just gotta reiterate it. Left-handed pitcher Frank Mazzucato has now been reassigned to minor league camp as
No,
of a little
not
bit.
Frank Mazzucato.
And that major league camp roster is getting smaller and smaller. It is down to 59 right now, but it's got to get a lot smaller real fast, though.
Yeah, it was Connor Moylan, and it's an il bacetto is the name of that kissing maneuver,
Okay.
apparently.
Never would have known that. All right, Jeremy. If we don't have anything else on the Royals front, let's take our last break and go ahead and come on back with Royals Review Reviews. Stay
Sounds like a plan.
tuned. Welcome back to the Royals Rundown podcast. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode or just enjoy the Kansas City Royals in general, make sure you subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you're listening at. But most importantly, you could find us on RoyalsReview.com along with a lot of other great work every single day from that team. And they make this podcast happen. So gotta love it. All right, Jeremy, what you got for Royals Review reviews today?
I'm gonna give you kind of an off the wall one a little bit.
Okay.
I've been drinking Olipop soda,
Oh,
prebiotic
okay.
soda recently, and longtime podcast listeners will know I have digestive difficulties, and I've touted the benefits of multiple different things at different times, and nothing I've ever tried works 100% of the time. But Olipop seems to be helping, at least to some degree. So I'm probably gonna keep drinking it. It's not my favorite tasting soda in the world, but I'm not drinking it for. I bought it to see if I would like the flavor, and then I was like, well, this is fine. It's not offensive flavor wise, but it does have the carbonation, which is my favorite part of soda. And I have not had an awful, terrible stomach digestive day in the 2 weeks I've been drinking it. So I'm gonna shout it out. And I'm sure that won't last forever, but that's why I have 500 different remedies to figure out which remedy will work today.
Exactly. 'Cause sometimes it's just a trial and error system, man.
Yeah. And
My
I've added one more, and I'm excited to have one more tool in my tool belt.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Hey, my review today is also going to be a little short. It is so if you do fantasy sports at all, I know
Mhm.
there's a ton of different options for like what platform you want to use.
The original
Um,
sports gambling.
yes, the original sports gambling. For however you enjoy it, I have come to really like fan tracks
I'm in
for
a Fantrax
baseball.
league this
Oh,
year.
there you go. It's just got all the tools you need. It's really well organized. I like their draft UI.
Yeah.
Really good. And
Work layout.
yeah, I'm in two out of the three leagues I do, they kind of mix it up a little bit because they want to keep the history of the Yahoo league that they had going before. So they do the draft in fan tracks and then they import those teams into Yahoo. Um
That's like there is like they manually do it, or there's an import feature that they're going to take advantage of?
I believe that there is an import feature via
That's
CSV.
really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's if you're looking
That
for a
that makes sense for, like, keeper leagues. Like, you would be able to export your roster from last year and then import it the next year on Yahoo. That would make a lot of sense, yeah.
so Fantrax, if you're looking for a league or to set up a good league, I think that's a good spot for you to start.
My only complaint about it so far is that we've had some conversations in the draft chat room, and they seem to erase themselves every day.
Oh, huh.
I
That's
don't know if
weird.
that's a setting that was set up by our commissioner. I'm in a TJ Stats, league,
Gotcha. 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 Gotcha.
and I don't know if he set that up or if it's a default setting that you can change, but I was disappointed to come back to the chat and discover there were no more messages.
Yeah, that stinks. Oh, all right. Well, that is going to do it for today's edition of the Royals Rundown podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We do have a couple of things in the works behind the scenes, so please make sure you stay tuned to the podcast or whenever those things come down the pipe. But most importantly, go check out royalsreview.com every single day, the Royals Rumblings, and feed the feed with your takes on the Kansas City Royals. I am Jacob Milham. They are Jeremy Greco. Thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, go Royals.
I'm going to learn Bella Ciao so that I can sing it at the end of one of these episodes.
Just have that be the outro music for any time we talk about Vinnie Pasquantino. I would love
I
that.
mean, I've got to have that in my chamber for if Italy somehow wins the whole dang thing, right?
Some chamber music in the chamber.
No, yeah, well, it's not chamber music, it's opera
Dang
music.
it. Dang it.
It's,
Shoot.
but it's the Italian Revolution theme, and it's been used by revolutions all over the world, and I love it so much.
Oh, I didn't know that.